Okay, so I know it's been a while since I posted, quite a while actually, and at one point I think I decided that maybe I was just going to give up the channel, um, kind of like I did with some of my socials, um, because I just kind of felt like I maybe just didn't have the time to commit to it. Um, the energy, definitely. Um, and it became just a bit of a hassle, a little bit, um, till I start figuring out what the real issue was. Um, so I have executive function disorder, among the many alphabets that I got going on here, which causes me to have a bit of ADHD paralysis. So when I'm faced with a lot of things to do, I do nothing. Um, but in my current situation, it's not that I don't do anything. It's just I tend to put things off, procrastinate hard, um, and pick and choose when and what I want to do. And unfortunately, my channel is the one that suffered. So I decided to maybe start doing it while I'm out here in the mornings gardening, because I have a very beautiful garden. Let's see, flip the camera around. And here we go. Wait just one moment. All right, so this is a sugar baby watermelon plant. I started gardening, I don't know, the summer of last year. Oh no, the year before, the summer of the year before. And I kind of just threw myself in it. Didn't really know anything. As you can see, I got one growing there. Got a lot of flowers. I got a prune. I got a nice big one here. These two are probably going to die off. I don't think they got pollinated properly. But I started it as a way to just grow my own food. Got some crookneck squash coming up here. These are zucchinis, and these four are okras. I've always been a hands type of person. I like working with my hands, like being creative. Um, the passion came a few years ago, but I didn't act until the year before. And of course, when you're doing something and you don't know what you're doing and you jump into it, as most ADHDers do, um, you you're either going to be extremely successful by luck, or you're going to crash and burn. And I kind of fell in the middle. Um, I did grow a couple of things. Other things just completely died. And then I was like, okay, that's not working for me. So I found an app that helps home gardeners, well, gardeners in general, figure out things like the time to plant. You got your seasons, what to plant, when to plant, based on your grow zone or what you can grow during that time of year. And it was really helpful. Um, my first year, I grew a little lettuce, but it was during the summer, so it bolted, what they call bolted, and it just got to a level and it just stopped growing. Um, so that winter, I did better. I learned as much as I could, and I started growing. I'm still figuring out how to water properly. But last year winter, I grew 5 heads of cabbage, um, 5 heads of greens, 3 collards, 2 turnips. I grew 1 head of broccoli, um, and I did about 6 to 7 heads of lettuce. Um, that's not how much I planted, that's just how much it produced, which is good. I still feel like that was a huge success. Um, so here we are now, the summer, spring, summer of 2025. I've had a few failures, especially with tomatoes. I'm not sure what's going on with tomatoes right now. Um, but everything else is doing pretty good. Just one thing I've learned, each year when you're gardening, when you're learning, each year is a new experience. Gardening is an experiment, regardless. Um, you learn things about cross pollination and your weather patterns and just all sorts of things when you're brand new. This year, I'm learning how to pollinate because there are not a lot of bees in my area. And so I'm learning how to properly pollinate my plants, learning the difference between male and female flowers, which flowers fruit. I come out here early in the morning because that's when the flowers open up to do my pollinations. So I'm learning all of that. Still, I think watering would be my huge struggle, but I digress. um, things when you're, whether you're a neurodivergent, whether you're suffering from mental illness, or whether you're someone like me who has both and you don't quite know how to process things, where to put things in perspective, your head goes crazy. Your head is your worst enemy. Um, and you try to make it make sense, but it's very hard. Um, I decided to be 100% transparent. I hate being on camera. I hate the sound of my voice, even though when I'm doing my customer service voice, I sound real nice. Um, but in that sense of transparency, um, a lot of you may think, okay, she's talking funny, she looks funny. Um, I lost my teeth, my whole top row. Um, I developed periodontal disease early, which a couple of people in my family have. But my depression, along with other mental illness and trying to fill my time with other things instead of properly taking care of myself, because at 46, I am just now learning proper self care. Um, I let it get worse. I could have prevented it and did better when I just had gingivitis, but I let it get worse and it developed into periodontal disease. And then I just ignored dentist. Um, I got so depressed that I didn't take care of myself. And self care is not just making sure your nails are done or your hair gets done. Self care includes doing regular, everyday activities like showering, brushing your teeth, eating. And a lot of my hygiene, which should have been a part of my self care, fell to the wayside. Um, it didn't get my eyes checked like I should have. I didn't get dental appointments like I should have. And so it came to the point that they were bad. They had to go. They all had to go. And because I didn't have the money to save the few that I could, because most of them were just, the bone loss was horrible. I just opted to just pull them. I hate my dentures. I don't like to wear them. They make me gag. I can't eat. I can't do anything in them. So I'm weighing on the idea of getting implants. See how much that'll cost. Um, but at 46, I don't even know if it's worth it, because if I croak, they're just gonna rip them out right out of me and sell them to somebody. Who knows? But um, that part of me started to feel ashamed, and I was so ashamed of my depression when it first happened. Um, I took all this medicine, and then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't need it. All I need, and we hear this all the time in the black community, all I need is Jesus. And it's good to pray. Don't get me wrong, but God created doctors and the ability to produce certain medicines because he made it. That's how he did it, you know. Um, but we won't get into the heavy religious talk or anything like that, because that's just everybody's personal um, thing to go to. But um, yeah, I lost interest in myself. I lost interest in learning about myself, being myself. Um, and it was hard trying to balance being a mom, being a wife, being a worker, uh, being a daughter, a niece, just everything. It was so hard trying to balance that, and I needed to slow down and take a beat. That's what I needed, but I couldn't do it. I could not bring myself to do it because, as any mom or any person who struggles with the idea of self care knows, that you get to the point where you start to feel guilty. Oh my God, I am sitting down here and I'm resting and I should be doing something. And you feel it's that guilt, and you're like, that's the part of self care that needs to be addressed first. Um, to put that guilt aside, because I've had it explained to me so many times, and it's kind of worked a little, and then it stopped working because I didn't keep it. You are the captain, the barometer. Everything focuses around you. You are in charge of the kids. Whatever the case may be, whoever you are in that relationship. If you take care of the majority of things, you control and steer the way that life of your family goes. And if you break down, everything else breaks down. If you're a train and the engine derails, guess what? All the cars behind it is going to go overboard too. So I had to make a conscious choice, and not just make that conscious choice, but to stick with that conscious choice to take care of myself, however that looked, however it looked like. Um, and I have made it a point to carve out time for myself to do that. So in the mornings, I come out, I tend to my garden, I water my veggies, I make sure they're sitting right. I talk to them because it's therapy for them and for me. And then on Sundays, it is my day. So I have declared Sundays as self care Sundays. I have marked it on the calendars of everyone in my home. I have put it on my digital calendar so it reminds me. I share digital calendars with everybody, even though they don't check their emails. Um, and I don't do anything that Sunday unless it's something that I want to do, which means if I want to cook that day, I'll cook. If I want to sit down and give myself a petty mani, I'll do that. If I just want to sit down, veg out, and do absolutely nothing but watch TV, that is what I'll do. And that is what I had to resolve myself to do. It's easy to make that decision, and it's even easier to um, let it falter. So once I decided that that would be my choice to do, I had to continuously decide that it will be my choice to stick with. And that is the hardest part of self care, sticking with it. Um, but I believe my family is coming around. I believe they are figuring out that mommy needs to come first, that honey needs to come first at some point. I have to take care of myself because if I don't, things like me passing out, getting sick, um, it happens more frequently, it happens more often. And realizing that if I don't put myself first, no one else will. No one else will. So don't. Some people have that wonderful family where they'll, oh babe, just sit down, I'll take care of it. Or the kids are like, Mom, don't worry about it, I got it. Um, Not everybody does, and I'm fine. I get it, but I gotta do me first. I have to do me first. So, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I do. And because realistically, my self care, taking care of myself, making sure I'm good, making sure I'm straight, helps everybody else. Um, that's what it does. And I have to catch myself during the week because there are times that I have bombarded myself with so many projects because my head is full. I am a creative person by nature. My whole family is are creative people by nature. Um, and my head is so full of so many different things. Um, they pour out of me, and then I get paralyzed because then I start working on stuff, and I get hyper focused on one thing, and then everything else falls by the wayside. And I make lists for myself for stuff to do on a Saturday, but then most of it doesn't get done because I am just, so I have come up with a form. Um, it's for executive function disorder. I will put the link below to my website where you can find it. Um, and it is you prioritize everything. You get things done. You focus on what needs to be handled. Um, right now, it's just a regular PDF. You can print it as a PDF or Word. I believe I put it on there. But eventually, I'm going to make it editable so you can download it onto your tablet and use it each time, for each day. Um, I also, and I don't have it because I'm in my garden, I also wrote a book. It is my first ebook. It's called Neurospark, and it is explaining different neurodivergent functions, disorders, um, things to spot. It is not made to self diagnose yourself or diagnose anyone else. It is literally made as a talking point, which means if you identify with a lot of the things that you read in the book, then talk to your doctor. Hey, I identify with this, this, and this. Is there testing? What can I do? And then this is where my hyper focus activities with my ADHD and my autism kind of join hands to fight me. I I've said it, I'm passionate about mental health. Um, Ever since having my kids and realizing that my kids were special ability kids, I've become super hyper focused on education about that. Realizing that I am undiagnosed and I see these, I identify with this stuff. I become very passionate about educating people on this subject. Growing up, it was growing up in the black community. There was no such thing as ADHD. There was no such thing as autism. There was no such thing as PTSD. And I'm not saying it didn't exist. It's just we didn't call it that. We had different names for different things because you didn't want people to think you were different. You didn't want people to think you were crazy. The word therapy was completely off the table. And you, especially people my age or older, you will hear this repetitive thing. Um, you don't have PTSD, you don't have depression, you don't have any of that. Those are white people's, those are rich white people problems. Therapy is for this. Therapy is for everybody. Everybody has something. I don't care who you are. If you're white, black, if you're brown, if you are melanin enriched or melanin deprived, if you are young, middle, old, if you're dirt poor, middle class, extremely wealthy, you're gonna have something. So stop lumping it into this is what I don't have. But uh, I tend to ramble, especially when it comes to this subject. Um, but if you get the book, um, I have the ebook and I have an audio. The audio is just an MP3 for right now. I'm still working on an Amazon version of the audio. It's going to take a while. But get it, listen to it. If you identify with anything, talk to your doctor, find out what can be done. You don't necessarily have to take medication, it is just a starting point. Uh, and with my hyper focus, with my ADHD and my autism is getting me in trouble at this point is because I have so many passions and so many things in my head. I'm trying to work on everything at once, which I realize I can't, but it's hard to not be hyper focused on it. I want to write a children's books about neurodivergency so children can understand. You can call a child autistic, but do they understand what that means? Um, and it's for little kids and it's for transitioning kids. Um, I have a another completely different book series that has absolutely nothing to do with ADHD, mental illness, or anything like that. But I beg to I digress. Sorry. Um, I am not going to promise I'm going to post more. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the best I can. Um, but it's always a work in progress. You are always a work in progress. You should be a student of life. Uh, Learn something new. Not No one will learn new things every day. Because you hear that, oh, you learn something new every day. Not always. Sometimes it may be a few weeks, a few months, or a year. But as long as you're breathing, you should learn something new. Um, and to quote a very funny and good movie, um, Now You See Me. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room because you always have to learn something. All right. On that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Uh, my It's time for my son's classes. I do homeschool. Um, my wonderful little creative 14-year-old. Um, but I will talk to you guys later. Um, have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good month. Have a good year. Whenever this plays, peace of mind is priceless.